Film Dive Podcast.
And it was just sequel after sequel after sequel.
There was no character development at all.
Just that on pure technical levels.
There are filmmakers that don't want it just to be an entertainment experience.
Hello and welcome to Media Academy Online's Film Dive Podcast, episode 27.
27!
Yeah.
Alright.
Here we go. Let's get it on.
So let's begin.
Where do we begin?
So in this episode, we're just going to unwrap the Oscars and those who won. So you probably all know who won all the awards, but we just wanted to run through it, give our thoughts. Since the gatekeeper, Brandon, has the list, I'm going to be looking for him to announce who won each of these awards, and then we'll discuss our thoughts on them.
The pressure is on.
This is all you now.
All right. Well, for Best Actor, which I think we all knew who was going to take that one home.
Absolutely.
Joaquin Phoenix finally gets a Best Actor award, which, you know, as I said, we all guessed it.
We knew it was coming.
He deserved it.
It was a powerful performance. And he put a lot of effort and dedication.
The weight loss and then, you know, all that stuff. Like,
it's powerful. Like, these actors that put in so much effort, they become that character for that life of that film. And the ones that can do that, and so almost forget about themselves and their ego and all that stuff and just become that character, they can be super powerful. And Joaquin Phoenix is one of those characters that did that, and that's why he won, and very deserving so. Yeah,
which is awesome because, like, he's done so many good movies or performances over the years in very interesting films as well, and he never won, so it's good that he finally got the recognition. For Best Supporting Actor, Brad Pitt took that one home, which I wasn't sure if he was going to win that one.
There was an interesting one because there were a lot of actors that were involved.
Potential across the board.
A lot of them did a lot of great performances. Brad Pitt was very good in his.
Yeah, well, now upon reflection, when I really do think about it, Brad Pitt really did deserve that because he carried that film. That was all him.
And it's a very particular film.
Yeah.
And you need everything to go right to be able to make that narrative, weave that narrative.
Yeah.
And the actors really have to understand how to weave that character, weave that story with their character.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that he did really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I think that's his second Best Actor award because he won. I think he won for 12 Monkeys.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got 2 now, which is pretty cool.
Good. Yeah.
Suck shit to the ones that didn't win. No, I'm joking. No.
Yeah.
Then we got Renee Zellweger for Best Actress.
Yeah. Did you see this performance of hers?
No.
Neither did I. So I can't really.
I can't comment on it, even though I really didn't have an idea who was going to win that. I thought Scarlett Johansson was going to win for some reason because Marriage Story. She's really good in that, actually. Really good. And she had 2 nominations, so I thought, oh, yeah, they're probably just... Yeah, anyway. Best Supporting Actress, Laura Dern for Marriage Story. She's done a lot more, you know, better roles in the past, but I suppose it's just one of those ones that, I don't know. I haven't seen the other films, so I can't really comment on...
And this is usually the case, that the films that get nominated are usually ones that, you know, we either, you know, just haven't seen or that they might not even run in many cinemas over here. Yeah, yeah.
And then the big beast, the one that sort of took home the majority of the awards, Parasite.
Yeah, Parasite. That was... I had a friend who was adamant that that was going to win nothing, and they were like, "Why is that there? It shouldn't be there." And they were very passionate about it.
Whereas I was passionate about it,
which was very interesting. And then the thing is, I didn't get into too much of a dialogue with them because I hadn't seen who was A, nominated, and then B, who won at that stage, because we go to different times to the people in America.
Yeah.
So I have to wait until I finish work before I can find out who wins.
Yeah.
all the awards.
That's what happened to me as well, and it was some parts of it is kind of like was a surprise, but most of it sort of went, I clicked straight away, and I was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Parasite. I didn't think it was going to win those three. Like it won Best Picture, Best Foreign Language Film, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay.
Yeah, and he even though he had a translator, you could see that he was really passionate about his craft when he was getting his awards.
Yeah. I mean, his movies speak for that, because like every one of his films he's done.
Yeah, and there's a few moments throughout the Academy Awards where he would call out his inspirations and point to them, and that was a lovely moment, because you can see that he's like a humble man. He's just so excited to become part of the thing that is the Oscars.
Yeah,
especially since it's it's a film that you wouldn't expect, like a Korean film.
No way. Not at all. Like it's never happened.
That's what's really great about what's the direction of Academy Awards now is that it is now a worldwide extravaganza, where before it used to be very much Hollywood
in-house almost,
and it's and now it's becoming a bigger thing and a worldwide stage for a lot of people.
I've been scratching my head trying to figure out why, and it's only just occurred to me the Academy Awards has been declining very much so.
What has,
downward trend since even 10 years.
Yeah, even this year it dropped.
Again. So no matter what they're doing to try and increase their viewership, it's still not working. Yeah. Like I bet you that was a part of the reason for why they maybe thought, we'll let a foreign film dominate again this year, because people are probably, they might hopefully get more Korean people, South Korean people, or whoever, Asian people, more in Chinese, whoever, more into the viewership. Well, I feel like that could be a bit of the strategy there.
Well, that's the thing, because, the films are a lot more than just the Western world. And the Western world have always watched it, North American world, at least for a large part. And it kind of bleeds into other countries like the UK and Australia. But I think it's a great direction for it, where it is more of a worldwide spectacle.
Like I had Roma win the year before, Best Picture, Best Director.
Yeah.
So they're really, I never would have thought, because I was so used to those real Hollywoody epic films winning, whether it was like Braveheart or you know what I mean, like something like Titanic or something that's very the usual sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see, because who would have thought? But I knew he was going to win one of them, either Best Director or Best Foreign Film. Like they were the two I was juggling. But anyway,
and
great.
It'll be interesting to see. Just finishing up on that, it'll be interesting to see where he goes from here. Whether he stays very Korean style filmmaking, or if he does go Hollywood in a way, where he starts getting funding from Hollywood and makes Hollywood style.
He has done Snowpiercer, which was a cross production. Okay. It's got Chris Evans and Tilda Swinton, heaps of good actors in that film. It's pretty much an American film, or I'm not sure who it's funded or produced by. It might be European.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a great film, and that's spawned a TV show. Now Parasite, I know, is spawning into a TV show.
Okay.
And he's doing that next. He said the script was that big that he has plenty of ideas and stuff that he couldn't include in the film that he's going to expand upon in the TV show, which is going to be like a short 10-episode thing at this stage, I think. So that's very interesting, because great TV is awesome too. It's good to have,
especially nowadays where we're almost in the stage where TV is on par to movies, in terms of like the production value and the effects.
Yeah.
And even the storytelling is just they're just so schmick now.
Yeah, like he's done Snowpiercer and Okja, a film called Okja.
I do
which was on Netflix. Yeah, about that pig. Like he's done cross productions already, and now he's just going to get a massive budget, I suppose, or get to do what he really wants to do, which it seems like he's always done that. But it's exciting to see where he's going to go from here. Best animated feature.
Best animated feature. I knew this one.
The safe bet.
It was going to be,
because it was a good film though.
Absolutely.
I suppose we might say what it is. Toy Story
Toy
4.
Story 4. Yeah, sorry guys, we're just
we're just talking here. We forgot about you guys. Toy Story 4. Like, I didn't want to pick it because I was like hoping they wouldn't win because they've won so many, and I thought, are they going to give them? But that was the only major Disney film I think that won, an award.
Yeah, I mean, what else? What else would there be? I mean, there's Missing Link. I Lost My Body. Haven't seen it.
I thought I Lost My Body might have won, but that's like a foreign French animation, so yeah.
And then How to Train Your Dragon.
Nah,
I mean, really, the only ones that had a chance of winning was maybe I Lost My Body and Toy Story 4, really.
Yeah, I suppose.
There's Missing Link there, which I would have hoped just because I want them to stay alive.
For the effort.
Yeah.
For the efforts.
For the craft.
Yeah. As a film, Toy Story 4 is the one. Yeah. Really, it is. And I enjoyed it, and I went into that film, wanting to hate it because,
It's funny because we always hate on, sequels and how they always get worse. But Toy Story is one of those. It's been running for generations. And the audience keep coming back for more. Yeah. And it's one of those... You can do that with any other film, like Shrek. They've just burnt themselves out.
Yeah, they just decline very quickly.
But Toy Story 4 manages to keep that quality.
Well, even the other Pixar sequels have been disappointing.
Yeah.
Like Finding Nemo 2, I didn't find great. Like every sequel they've done has never been as good as the original.
Monsters University.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Cars I didn't even like the first one, so.
Yeah, yep.
And, and then you got all the Lion King animation films coming out and, all these other ones coming out. And I just wanted to hate on it because it's Disney.
Yeah.
But I love Pixar, so it's just... And then I watched it and it was like... I was like, Forky and all these new characters. I was like, they won me over.
And they're just always so sentimental and it hits you in the heart, mate. It hits you in the heart.
They know how to do that. When they're on point, they definitely excel at that.
When objects that don't exist can hit you in the heart, have you feel an emotion, having you crying.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's great storytelling.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Yep. Then we had Taika Waititi winning for Jojo Rabbit, the first New Zealander of Maori descent. Which is really cool.
I really like him.
Yeah.
And it's not just because he's storytelling. He does not have the persona of a director where he's passionate, serious. He's just a funny guy.
Yeah.
He just cracks
he's a comedian.
Jokes. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
He's done so much stuff in his life. You read into his life and he's done art. He's done so much
we'll have
stuff.
to do a documentary about him. It's probably already happening.
Yeah, but he's such an interesting guy.
Yeah.
And he's become what he is now, and it's great. And
it's
he's
amazing.
Such a great storyteller. Because, when you think about directors... you get those that are so serious and, or you got those ones that keep to themselves and they're all in their head.
Yeah.
But you don't really tend to get those ones that are just outwardly...
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tend not to be those,
Down
and this
to
is
earth.
a big stereotype here.
Yeah.
But it's just that image of a director.
Yeah. It's almost, I mean, we do get a lot of cool... interesting directors that have such interesting personalities. Like we had Guillermo del Toro, he has another really down to earth and passionate and humble personality, and the guy who did Parasite, Bong Joon-ho, Quentin Tarantino, even whoever. But then you get those super serious ones. It's like Christopher Nolan, and I don't know,
almost pompous without.
Yeah, without being, But it's true. Like they're just so serious, and they're just this is
Even like Steven Spielberg, like when he's directing, he's very serious.
He's quite serious. Yeah, Spielberg's quite serious, but he's got a charm to him.
Yeah,
he's got that schmaltzy charm. Still, So he is quite easy to listen to and to watch when he's talking about his films. But he's not like super crazy or super.
Yeah, James Cameron's eccentric. Very serious when he's
James Cameron's very serious. Yeah, he's like a wall of seriousness.
Yeah,
and then you got like even George Lucas. Like I fall asleep every time I hear that guy open his mouth. And then you got he's
one of those ones that's in himself, and he doesn't.
Yeah, he's a reclusive guy. Yeah. And then you got like here we're going to name directors for the
Peter
next
Jackson.
hour.
Peter
Then we got Peter
Jackson.
Jackson, and then
Anyway, we'll be here forever.
Wright,
Let's move on.
Edgar Wright. Best cinematography, Roger Deakins for 1917.
That is great.
Yes.
That was a perfect win.
We said that. That was going to win.
Roger Deakins, he's a star.
Sure is a bloody star.
He's one of, if not, the best cinematographer.
Period. Well, he's up there, yeah. I'm sure there's like other great ones, but yeah, for like the modern age, and you know there is a lot of good cinematographers out there, but he just keeps almost reinventing himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
You look at other films he's done.
Yeah.
Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah, absolutely
beautiful.
Stunning. Yeah, great film. Don't get me started on Blade Runner. We'll be here for another hour.
But again, that's just
wonderful cinematographer. You know, he's just deserves it all the way. Then we got best costume design, Jacqueline Duran, Little Women, which is a period piece. You know, they got the old Victorian kind of, I think it's Victorian outfits, and yeah. I suppose that I haven't seen it, but I suppose that deserves it because it won. 1917, I suppose, won best sound mixing
and best visual effects too.
And best visual effects,
which is
pretty understandable.
Yeah. Now, this is the thing. This is brought on a little bit of controversy. Win.
Yeah.
Because there was another film that didn't win any awards, Endgame.
Ah.
And that was up for best visual effects too. There's a post that's going around with Avengers Endgame that's stating the fact that it is the only film to be in the highest grossing film of all time category, if you look at the past, say, 10, to not win an Academy Award.
Is that saying something?
A lot of people have questioned it.
I'll tell you what, if that came out probably 4 years earlier or 5 years earlier, would have won probably 5 Academy Awards, or 2 or 3. But it was bad enough that they put Black Panther in the year before, and that won for, I think, costume or something like that, and it was nominated for music. I think it won music. And look, I think we're all getting to that point where we're getting quite burnt out with the Marvel.
Well, that's the thing. Look,
stuff.
This is how I see it, right? The Academy Awards, the films that win Academy Awards, they're usually for something that is so different and so groundbreaking in some ways.
Makes sense.
That it stays with us. But Avengers Endgame, it's what you expect. It is a continuation of a larger franchise that they've created.
Yeah.
And all of the other films that have won, that have been in the highest grossing film of all time category, they were new films.
Yeah.
New original stories that came out and sort of shook us. And this is and Avengers Endgame is an evolution.
Yeah.
It's not a new
standalone or something that's changes cinema or like it did what it needed to do, which was basically like be a massive ensemble piece with huge spectacle and effects and tie up all that stuff from the previous, catalogue of films. But to be honest, I really don't think it had like the best effects anyway, because like they were good, they were top notch, but they weren't, like you were saying, they're not groundbreaking.
Yeah,
we've seen it all before. There's nothing new there. It's all story. It's all just a finalization of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not anything else.
And if we think about that category, and you really have to ask yourself, do you think Avengers Endgame, in visual effects terms, is better than 1917? I don't think so.
Yeah, well, I guess that is debatable because a lot of people think that 1917 is just so gimmicky and just it's...
But the thing with 1917 is that the visual effects is in the background. It just appears. It does what visual effects are meant to do.
Which is the way I like it. They assist the storytelling, don't they?
And that's right. It's all about the storytelling. When Endgame is all in your face. But the thing is, a lot of people confuse visual effects. And they almost think that it has to be in your face to be a visual effect.
To be noticeable.
To be noticeable.
So they go, oh, that's a visual effect.
And so that they can say, wow,
that
really...
CGI Thanos was, really cool. But
then real visual effects, great visual effects, is the visual effects that we don't see.
Yeah.
They're the most powerful because you don't see them. It doesn't take you out of the story at all. David
Fincher style, like Social Network or Zodiac, any one of his films, with CGI used in it, apart from Alien 3. I just, you can't pick them until they like break down the shots or whatnot. Like they're really hard to pick what's what. Yeah.
And even like, if you look into 1917 a bit more further, they have transitions that are in your face and you don't even notice them because they have to do tricks by having the character transition from the real person to a CG person, back to a real person, and have all these little bits that sort of all fit into one another. There's no hidden shots where you might go behind a rock or something and it kind of... They're there too. But there's also those ones that have those transitions right in your face and you don't even notice them. Yeah.
That's why probably a lot of people don't get it because they're just like...
They don't see it.
Yeah. I can't see.
What visual effect?
I mean, and I guess superhero films always have been a bit, not taken seriously anyway, the Academy Awards. I mean, if anyone should have won Academy Awards, should have been Chris Nolan for the Dark Knight trilogy. Like that's what changed the landscape of superhero films till now. And everything else has just been like an afterthought or just like a carry on from that. It hasn't really been too much of a shift in, groundbreaking sort of technology.
There's only been a very few superhero films or in that, comic book franchise sort of world that have won Academy Awards.
Or been acknowledged by the Academy Awards,
been acknowledged, we've got ones like Joker.
Which is pretty interesting.
We've got Hugh Jackman.
Because you've got Dark Knight and Joker, which, two Jokers have won.
Yeah, yep.
So that says something about the character Joker as well, I think, and the Batman universe. It can be taken more seriously. Yeah. It does reflect social, our society, and it really, that character touches people or, affects people in such a way that the Marvel and the Disney or Marvel characters just don't really have... You can't get that emotional with those characters because they are very... Like, the Marvel world is very watered down. It's made for more people. It's made for... It seems to be more of like a McDonald's where they're trying to please everyone almost.
And that's why it makes the money.
It's working and it makes the money it makes. It's for everyone.
It's not to discredit the art or the storytelling that's involved. And I think that's the politics that have come around, with Scorsese's comments and stuff like that. But when he says it's, a roller coaster ride, he doesn't mean it in a negative connotation. No. He's saying it takes you for a ride. Yeah. In that sense. Yeah. In a different way to... I
mean, we've been saying that for years anyway. That's Scorsese, saying that. Well, we've always been saying, oh, that was a great thrill ride, or that was, we've always been using that term. Yeah. I don't understand what the big fuss is, just because, comic nerds are fucking butthurt over, over some old man's thoughts. But Martin Scorsese's a great director. Let the man fucking have his perspective.
He makes films that are character-driven and emotion-driven. And those Marvel films are visually driven. Yeah. That's the difference. Yeah. And that's why it's a roller coaster.
I know what I prefer,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's our views. That's our thoughts.
Yeah, that's my view. That's my thoughts. I'm not trying to fucking convince anyone.
Marvel, if those who enjoy Marvel and that they like going on that kind of ride, more power to you. Great. That's fantastic. Yeah. Two different people. He wasn't criticized. Anyway, we're going to have this conversation again.
Yes.
But
I mean, we've had plenty of cheesy, lighthearted, fun superhero films.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then we get these dark, serious ones like the Batman stuff. You get the shit ones as well, like Batman v Superman. Yeah. But then we've had fucking Dark Knight, powerful
Yeah.
film, powerful performance. Joker, powerful film, powerful performance
Yeah.
at the right time. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway.
Let's continue.
Yeah, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
Best film editing, Ford vs Ferrari,
Now,
which we did mention.
It's one of those films that is just a solid, really professional, slick film.
Yeah.
It's great storytelling. It's a fantastic story. When you've got great editing, it just seems that it just blends it all together. That it doesn't take you out of
the story
at all.
Yeah.
Like there was a film that I recently saw, which was A Beautiful Day in Your Neighborhood or something.
Oh,
like
the
that.
Tom Hanks one.
The Tom Hanks one.
So you can.
And that film, kind of, I want to rewatch it.
Yeah.
But I felt the cinematography in that kept taking me out of the storytelling.
In the editing.
And the editing.
It was a bit funny in places.
It was all a bit.
Was it?
It was all. I think it could have been a better film.
Yeah.
Because things like the cinematography, the editing, are things that it felt very TV to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to discredit the artists involved with it.
Just how you felt.
But that's just how I felt. That it felt very TV, and they'd have certain cuts and certain shots and compositions, and that took me out of it personally.
I feel like the film Ford v Ferrari needed good editing.
Yeah, absolutely. It had to, especially when you're working with that content.
Yeah.
And that subject.
And it's a long film.
It was a long film. It didn't feel that long when I was watching it, but it was long.
I did feel it because I watched it like at midnight, and I was like nearly falling asleep.
I put it on since I got home from work, which was like 7.
I still loved it though. Like,
and then I didn't go to bed till like 10:30 or something. So it was a long film.
I was up to like 2 watching that.
Yeah.
So it's like, But yeah, Christian Bale's performance, he didn't win for that, but his accent, doing a different kind of English accent, and Matt Damon was cool in it too, and I think that it just did what it needed to do. It didn't go too far. I feel like it was just not, like you said, it's just nice, solid, rounded, one of those stories.
And the other thing I like about it is that at the end, spoiler alert, but at the end when he dies, when that, the brakes don't work, whatever it was, and we have that final death.
Finally.
When we had that, we saw it from afar. It didn't have to be in your face, and you didn't have to see the big roll and the big fire, and we had that earlier on in the film, kind of
like a fake out death
when it happened.
Yeah.
But this time, we knew what had happened. All we had to do was see it from the distance, and that restraint I really liked.
Yeah, that restraint. Yeah, James Mangold, the director, he's a great director. He's done such a varying body of work.
Yeah, and this especially, like, when you look at this film, there's so many... The storytelling has to be woven so perfectly for it to work, because it is basically a guy going around doing laps 50 times, is the story we're trying to tell. Especially those racing scenes. They're told so perfectly. And
love those racing scenes.
From we see the right person at the right time, and on the outset you look at it, you might think... watching a guy going around a track 50 times, that there might not be, a decent story there. Or you might just get bored of seeing that.
That's what I thought, going in. I thought I might get, I'm not a big, massive racing fan, but I thought, it's just going to sustain my interest. And within 20 minutes to half an hour, I'm like, this is
because
good.
It's really, at the end of the day, the story they're telling you, it's not about racing. I mean, that's the location. That's
the dressing.
The subcontext is all that racing, but that wasn't the story.
Yeah, it's another human story, just about a man. Really.
It's about a man.
Really.
His family.
Yeah, his family.
And that was that scene where we had the wife there, and she was speeding, and she was cracking the shits because he wouldn't talk.
Yeah.
And she was freaking out because, understandably, finances, it's always the arguments that we have with our, significant others are always about finance.
Yeah.
And so, that was a really great scene, how that sort of evolved and in the end became a happy scene. I guess we'll finish up with the Academy Awards there. We've mentioned the most notable ones that we've seen. There's a lot of other awards that we won't comment on just because we haven't seen them, a lot of them, like the short films and stuff like that. So what are your thoughts, as an overall, looking at who won these awards? How do you feel?
But let us know. Other than that, I guess we'll finish there. See you next time.
Adios.